Hey, everybody. What's going on? Happy holidays. We're joined by Miss Junair. Say hi to everybody. Happy holidays.
And I say Miss Junior.
Oh, okay. So now we have a lot to talk about, and I think this is going to be very, very interesting right now. What I'm going to do here is we are live to YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. I've got the chat over here. If you're on YouTube, you want to send me messages. I will try to monitor the other sites, or maybe probably respond afterwards. A lot to talk about. There's so many different topics that I really want to get into. And a lot of it, I think, all kind of relates.
Me.
Hold on one second.
You promised me.
And we will. Give me 1 second. And we're going to talk about the economy. We're going to talk about automotive. We're going to talk about all kinds of things. And they really all relate. And I really think, yes, it's going to be interesting.
Yes.
Is 2023 the year that reality is back? And we're going to talk about that and break that down. I'm not going to go too long tonight because it's a little bit later here. But
it's almost Christmas.
It is almost Christmas. And we want to wish everyone happy Hanukkah, happy holidays to everybody, right? No matter, it doesn't matter. We love everybody. And let's talk about, you wanted to talk about, you've got your own tree. We have the big tree and we have the small tree. And when you want to talk about your Christmas decorations, go ahead and tell me about that.
The decorations. You don't know all the decorations. You don't know if the decorations of you just need to decorate your tree how perfect you want it, and you could do it ever you want.
Let me ask you, how did you decorate your tree?
Well, I decorated so perfect, even just a little bit.
You seem to have a star at the top of your tree too.
Yeah, because I took it first.
You made sure your tree was good. Did you have fun decorating the tree with mommy?
Yeah.
You excited for Christmas?
Yes.
You've got some different presents. You've got different things. You're excited to. We're gonna have great food with mommy and everything like that. What's your Christmas message? What do you want to tell everybody out here for Christmas?
For Christmas, be happy and be happy. Love, do everything you can to make everybody be happy.
I think that's great. Fantastic message.
Hey, wait a minute.
Yes.
And we also have 2 presents for me.
You have different presents. Okay. Great message. High five.
A present to mommy
High five.
And daddy. To this one present
Good job.
for mommy and daddy, and this one present for me.
Thank you, Junair. Awesome. Awesome message.
We're gonna give a present.
She may come back. We're gonna keep rolling with the show. Hey, we want to wish everybody a happy holiday out there. So let's get into it. I mean, 2023, is that going to be the year that reality reasserts itself? And I appreciate y'all. Junair really wanted to talk to everybody out there, and I figured it was probably better. May have hurt the show in terms of the introduction and everything like that and the momentum of the show, but I thought it was better to have her at the beginning than the end. And you know, obviously I'm extremely biased, but I think she's super cute and she wanted to talk to everybody. So I really wanted to have an opportunity to do that. And I appreciate that. And Junair says, you know, holiday wishes, special holiday wishes to everybody. There's so many different things I want to talk about here. And I think that they all relate. I'm going to try to keep this pretty short here. We're at about almost a 4-minute mark. Let's try to go to 15 or 20 minutes. I think that I can do that. I'm going to lay a lot of things on the table. I'm going to kind of go rapid fire here in terms of the topics, right? And it's been, you know, we're looking towards the end of the year. And I've been thinking about some things, thinking strategically. Umar, hey, what's up, brother? Appreciate you. Look at that. Happy holidays to you. Happy holidays to you and yours, my friend. Absolutely. Much love to you as well. Wishing everybody, definitely in Florida, definitely in the 305, definitely in America, but globally, worldwide. We have audience worldwide, and we appreciate everybody out there. No question about it. We appreciate everybody. We thank you. And I think it's been just a wild few years. And I think it's caused people to really reassess. What do you want out of your career? What do you want out of life? How do you want to do this, right? Where do you look, you know, what's most important? How do you want to spend your time? You know, where do you want to live? right? We saw people moving to Florida and Texas, all these different things. I think everything's in the mix. Everything's on the table. And without getting too esoteric, let me put some stuff on here. We're dealing right now with a lot of hyper partisanship. We're dealing with people's relationship with, like, who do I want to vote for? Government leaders and people are thinking about, like, where do I want to live? I mean, people are thinking about, what's the right way to govern? How do I be a leader? There's just so many things that are on the table. People thinking about their health, of course. Health has been a huge topic. Climate, electrification, EV, automotive, modern retail. Do we want to buy cars from vending machines? I mean, all of it's there, right? Everything's there to be discussed. Crypto, look at the 180 on that. We're going to put that on the table. So I'm just going to throw some things there. I'm just going to throw some things on the topics right now, right? Headlines right here. CNN Business, Alicia Wallace. All right, Friday, December 23rd. Good news on inflation. The Fed's favorite gauge shows price increases are moderating. Well, it seems like maybe that's still going up, right? That's interesting. Look at this. Auto blog, Jonathan Ramsey, byline, December 22nd, headline, quote, Oregon follows California's ban on new internal combustion and ICE car sales, internal combustion engine, by 2035. That's a big deal. But then you see this from Politico. Where it says German e-car sales, quote unquote, a pipe dream. I think I've got that right. Hold on. I've got this thing here in my way, so I can't really see everything here. Give me a second. That's okay. All right. Headline, quote, Germany car sales target called a quote unquote pipe dream. So we're seeing cross currents here. This is by Joshua Pozaner, right? I mean, we're seeing cross currents here. A lot of stuff. We're seeing cross currents on the car predictions, right? Cizian, PR Newswire, right? This is by Edmunds. Headline, 2023 prediction. Edmunds experts forecast 14.8 million new vehicles will be sold in the new year. Now, think about that. Here's the deal about that. I mean, a really good year. I was just talking to people out there. You see the SAR would be at 16 and a half, 17 million, 17.6, somewhere like that. So for anything in the 14 is not like some super huge, powerful year by any stretch, right? But I think this year, I saw something where I think Cox Automotive was somewhere around like 14.1. I mean, we'll see how it all ends up. But this has been a tough year, right? In automotive, this has been a tough year. But then you see this right here, and you've got experts predict car prices will come down in 2023. So that's an interesting thing, right? And this is on KSHB, Kansas City. So that's very interesting there, right? I mean, we'll have to see how that all works out. There's a lot of different things going on here. Then we see this, Reuters, December 8th, 2022, by Joseph White. Quote, GM CEO sees U.S. new car sales rebounding in 2023. So there's a lot of different things going on here. And then now we have also, I saw, where did I have this? Then you have another one, right? Headline, quote, by Patty Dahm. And this is December 23rd, right? Just today. Quote, why everyone thinks a recession is coming in 2023. That's on the table. Then you have this by Delantha De Silva, December 23, 2022. Quote, Carvana's stock price has dropped over 90% this year. What's the outlook? Question mark. Wow. I mean, it's a lot on the table. There's a lot on the table. Another thing, Fortune magazine by Bloomberg and Edward Ludlow, December 22nd, quote, CarMax joins Carvana in stock market drubbing as the used car market comes down to earth after pandemic highs. It's a lot of stuff happening here. There's a lot of stuff happening here. Says that CarMax missed analyst estimates. Shares fell close to 10%. I mean, this is serious. This is serious. What's happening right now? What's happening right now? We have to talk about that. Then we have another thing here where Tesla's offering up to $7,500, I believe, off of certain vehicles. So, right here, and free charging through December, through the end of the year, right? So we're going to put links in the YouTube in the video description on some of these articles. But it's like, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. Then we have this whole FTX thing, right? FTX, you've got New York Times. This is by Matthew Goldstein and Benjamin Weiser. And this is today, December 23rd, and updated at 9:49. And, quote, Alameda executive says she is, quote unquote, truly sorry for her role in FTX collapse. And the sub headline is that she, quote, this is more here, and I'm picking it up, ... admitted she participated in defrauding customers and misleading investors, unquote, in my opinion. Now, crazy right here. Another one, Reuters, by Luke Cohen and Tom Halls, December 23rd. Quote, Bankman-Fried, FTX execs receive billions in hidden loans, ex-Alameda CEO says. So there's so much on the table right now. And we saw things happen politically. I might touch on that very, very lightly. But there's a lot going on. I really feel like whether it's the car market, politics, economy, I mean, there's so many things. I really feel like there's been some disconnect from, I don't know what you want to call it. And maybe this is more metaphorically than actually, I mean, than reality, fundamentals, whatever you want to call it. I mean, who really thought that buying vehicles from, this vending machine thing, I mean, how easy is it to test drive there? I mean, how is that a great idea? I don't know. I mean, there were some people that were in the automotive world. This is great. It's about the customer experience. And I mean, okay. So the thing is, like I tell people, you can have the world's greatest process. You can have customer experience. You still have to have the right product. It's the 4 Ps, right? I mean, right. And then from the Harvard, I gotta look it up. So I have it on the tip of my, I partially remember. I don't want to get it wrong. I want to say it's Professor Porter. I think that's right. Let's see if I get it right here. Let's see if we get it right here. I think I've got it roughly right here. Hold on. It's the 4 Ps, right? Product, price, place, promotion, right? The 4 Ps, right? That's what I'm talking about. You got to get back to that, the marketing mix here. Let me see here. I want to get this right. I'll find it as I mix in some other stuff here. Okay. So I think it's been attributed to Professor James Culleton from Harvard. Okay. I'll put some links in the description here. But yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. I think you have to have the right product. You can have that's the thing. Like I was just talking about this today. I mean, you can have the best process ever, best customer service ever. I mean, for instance, let's get specific here. If I have the world's greatest process, the best way in the world to buy a car, and I can do it in 10 minutes or less, if let's like theoretically possible, right? And you contact me anywhere, cell phone, text, chat, anything, and you come in any door that you want, metaphorical door that you want. But at the end of the day, I'm selling, a cardboard, a car at $1 million. How many customers am I going to have? How's that customer experience, right? Or I've got some brand new car that drives totally different, has a different drivetrains, transmission, different setup, different technology. Everything's different, but you can't test drive it. You can buy it all online. You've got it right here. It's at your finger. You've got the tablet. You've got everything, but you can't test drive it. You can't sit in it. You don't know how it's going to fit and feel. You don't know how it's going to drive. I remember the first time I drove a CVT car, right? Continuously variable transmission. And I remember backing that car up, and it was like, whoa, it was like totally different. And maybe it's that setup, whatever, it's kind of like a rubber, it was different. It would kind of, and I remember driving this, and I don't want to name the brands and stuff. I don't think that's fair. And driving it kind of would rev up, it felt different, right? And some people, they love manual transmission still right now. They seek that. That's what I'm saying is yeah, everybody wants to reinvent the wheel. Sometimes it's hard to reinvent the wheel. And are we going to see a return to reality? That doesn't mean that things don't progress. That doesn't mean that things aren't disrupted, that we aren't changing the game. But I think there needs to be a fundamental understanding of what the game is. Does that make sense? Right? And you get back to the whole thing. Everything comes down to people most of the time. And what's your product? What's your pricing? What is the value added to the consumer? Now, if you have a buying journey, if you will, and there's all these buzzwords, whatever word, whatever way you want to package that, where the biggest pain point is the process. Like, for instance, okay, if you could disrupt travel such that a teleporter or something like that was actually viable, where I could snap my fingers and have some machine and easily and safely and instantaneously travel to some great vacation spot, Caribbean island, Australia, Hawaii, whatever, you're fill in the blank. Or just go see, my family or whatever like that. That would be extremely valuable because the actual means of travel is kind of like that takes a lot of time, energy, all that type of stuff. That's maybe one example where the actual process is a major pain point. But also that is the travel. The transportation is also the product. So is that really a fair comparison? I mean, again, it comes back to the product, right? What's the product? What's the price? What's the product? Those are so fundamental. They're so fundamental. And I forget what the research, but I saw some research. I can't remember. I believe I did. I see so many things, read so many things all the time. That if you're something about like, if you're not selling a top 3 product, it's hard to really get, where you want to get to numbers wise, on the sales game. That the product is, you can have the best process, you can have the best closer, but you still, and then of course there's anecdotes of, oh, well, this and that and whatever. But I'm saying it's no different than telling someone this analogy. Would you rather shoot a free throw or would you rather shoot a 3-point shot? Which one are you going to hit more often? Or how about a 3-point shot running, right? I mean, 3-point shot behind your back. I mean, at some point, you have to play the percentages, right? Or say it another way, how many, yeah. So I can go on with analogies. Similarly, I think it's interesting, right? With 2023, I mean, we've seen gas prices, at least here in Florida, gas prices. I went to fill up my tank today, and premium where I went to was close to $3 a gallon. It's a lot lower than it's been for a while, right? I mean, I remember filling up and it was over $5 a gallon, and I think $5.25 almost, or maybe more. I don't know. It was very close to that, if I remember right. Not that long ago, okay? I mean, it may have even been over the last summer. I mean, right? It seems like at times really, and one way it goes really fast. In some ways, it's almost been like a couple of years here in the last year or something like that. But anyway, politically, it's very interesting too. And that's what I'm saying. We're seeing cross currents with stuff. And I guess, it's that old saying, like on the, a funny thing happened, right? On the way to changing everything. Things kind of remain the same or go back to the same. obviously with a different twist. What do I see? I'm gonna go 5 more minutes here. 5 or 10. It definitely capped out at 30. That's it. And so we're right before the 20-minute mark. I think that what we're seeing is the Toyota CEO, and I need to pull this up. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. And this is kind of a good example of that, right? So many car manufacturers, automotive, everything's going to be EV, and I don't want to name names. Again, I don't want to put anyone on blast. But here we go. I think interesting. Toyota CEO claims, there's different things going on here. I think, okay, here, this is what I want to see. Okay, here we go. Hold on, pulling it up right now. Okay, this is Yahoo. Headline: Toyota CEO reserves doubts over going solely EV as industry remains largely tight-lipped. And it goes through this thing. I think I saw something about where it was going to be roughly half and half. I don't know. I'm not alleging anything. But basically giving people different choices. Whereas some people are saying, hey, we're going to everything, fully electric. And I'll try to find some more articles to throw down there. And so you have to wonder, and think about that. There's technical issues with temperature and some of these batteries and stuff like that, and range and all these things. How many charging stations are there? What if you had to make a cross-country journey? Et cetera, et cetera. If there's an issue with cold, how did these things work? How well will they work in Canada? How well will they work in the UK? How well will they work in Iceland? I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm not an engineer. But I think it's hard to change everything very rapidly, right? So where are we at? And we've seen so many different things, so many different discussions going on about, again, healthcare, education, energy, environment, economy, work from home, all these things. And I just think that it's been fascinating. It's hard to predict. It's hard to say exactly where it's going to end up. But I see people reflective and thinking about things. I see opportunities. I see disruption. And at the same time, I see kind of maybe an unspoken or collective weariness of you can't shuffle everything. So I'm an eternal optimist. I've always been that way. And even though I might analyze and have some critiques and stuff and see ways to improve, I'm still an optimist. I think that there's it's maybe not linear, but I think there's usually, progression, right? So I think 2023, the economy, let's start with that. Let's just go one by one real quick. Rapid fire. Economy, very tough. Don't know. I don't know. And again, everything you do is at your own risk. Everything I'm saying is all my personal opinion and knowledge and facts, not cash dispersed, all for entertainment purposes. Only please check all the disclaimers. And I don't know. Some things I read say, hey, it's going to be really, really bad. Other thing, my own sense of it is certain things are really bad. I could see housing housing's not looking, because interest rates, there's a lot of these things that are tied together. So auto sales could be not super great. Housing could be not super great. At the same time, though, I also see this return, the whole theme of it. I see this return to people getting back to work, to getting things going, just wanting to kind of just, I see inventories coming online, it's time to go again. And I think we've already seen some of that, right? Some of this year. So I don't know. But there's an old saying, can't fight the Fed. Interest rates are going up. It's tough. But I think that even if it gets, I guess this is what I'm kind of saying. Even if it gets challenging or really challenging, I think once we see stability on pricing, stability on approaches and systems, and just like people feel like it's a return, like all these things have been disrupted. I think once people feel like they have their footing, if you will, like we know we have some predictability in all of this, where we can agree to disagree and we just all get along and we get things going, move things forward, I think you could see some rapid activity on the economic front there. Does that make sense? Like, if I know, like, hey, okay, like, whatever it is. I mean, I'm trying to just keep this at a very high level because I could drill down on it. So I'm trying to wrap this thing up. So I'll leave it at that. I think once we know so that's my counter sort of argument, not argument, but I could see the contrarian move there. Things could get really bad, and potentially in 2023. But at the same time, like, I think if things okay with the economy, the election's over, okay, we're getting back to work. Okay, yes. I mean, whatever it is that you can have this pent up demand. And a lot of what happened with the pandemic was sort of some demand shifts, right? And so it's going to be interesting. And a lot of these things, it's hard to predict because a lot of these things are like I said, they're tied together. And I think you have to just I always thought it was really weird when you see a lot of this, different, like the newscasters, and you have the same talking point. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, are you like, how does that, how does that happen? Like, are you thinking for yourself? Is you just a cool line? A lot of these people watch each other. It's like, I think the answers are, and this is where I'm coming from, but I think a lot, you have to let the market work. You have to let people I believe in the big data, if you will, of the market and the people out there doing stuff. And I think we have to work together and so, yeah. Okay. So economics, don't know. I think that's a real interesting question right there. If I had to, make it early, what's my hunch? I wouldn't be surprised if things are pretty tough, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they bounce back faster than maybe people will think off that challenging, space right there. Part of it again and again, maybe this is the thing. Like we went to this place where auto manufacturers were like, hey, we could produce more and make all the money. Like if things are changing, like the used car market's changing rapidly, you have to adjust. Used car market, you have to turn it fast because you understand that the environment is rapidly changing. Like if it's getting cold, I need to put a jacket on, right? I can't wait like halfway through the night. Oh, maybe I need a light jacket. Like I'm already cold, right? So you have to make those moves. So if we have a situation where inventory is coming online, is your pricing right? Do you need incentives? If the economy is bad, how can, are people able to afford the car? Like, how do you make this all work such that at the end, it's the same thing. Like when housing prices, if interest rates are low, housing prices can go up because if you're doing a loan or something, then, you have a certain payment. People can pay what they can pay. So the payment has to kind of work out, right? In my opinion, potentially. So if the house price is here and interest rates are here, then the payment is here. Whereas if the interest rates are here, then house price has to be here because the payment has to be here, right? People can pay what they can pay. Unless again, cash buy, all that other stuff. There's obviously caveats in this. This is just an extremely generic example. I'm not giving anyone advice, particularly financial advice. So, but it is to say that you have to read the play and read the field and understand, to use a football analogy, understand when things are changing and react to that. You can't say, okay, things are changing, things are getting back to normal, but we're still going to use this old model. That doesn't work, right? You have to rapidly react. And I think with Carvana and some other things out there, crypto, I think people are like, hey, the world's changed, but it kind of didn't. What's the fundamentals? And again, what's the bottom line? The bottom line is if you got a huge purchase like an automobile, you kind of need to drive it. You kind of need to check it out. You may need to talk to someone that is experienced and can tell you what's going on. You may need someone to follow up later if you need X, Y, and Z, or, things happen, right? It's not like buying a toaster, in my opinion. Same thing. Okay, this crypto stuff, like, yeah, there's some really smart young people out there. There's some really smart graduates and everything, but this whole 30 under 30, it's when you, for extreme example, if you got like 100 people who just graduated high school that's going to totally try to, and this is completely exaggerated, made up, fictitious here. I'm just using an extreme example here, made up. We're going to rewrite the codes of physics. We're going to change the banking system. We're going to change politics. Yeah, I mean, maybe it works, and maybe you've got some absolutely super brilliant people here. No, and again, I'm all for everyone. There's freedom, love, equality of opportunity for everybody, but that may not be. Don't be surprised if maybe there's some potential issues here. There's something to be said for experience. There's something to be said for wisdom. And I think there was a study out there of the most successful entrepreneurs were almost in their 50s because they've been through some stuff. They have connections. They have network. They may have failed before. There was a saying in Silicon Valley that, so again, this idea, and I'm all for everybody, and I want to be very clear about that. Absolutely meritocracy. The door is open for everybody. I'm all for everybody. Again, freedom, liberty, equality, opportunity for everybody. But this idea that, hey, because it was this or there, it came from this or there, or the founder is this or that, or whatever it is, that it's, better. No, I don't go for any of that. I'm all for, what's the idea? Is the business model good? Is it not good? Is it smart? Is it not smart? So, it's anytime you have this marketing stuff of whiz kids or crypto or whatever, and you sort of suspend, and I'm not saying anybody did, but I'm saying hypothetically, it's never good to suspend due diligence. It's never good to that kind of stuff is, it's like, oh, you're not part of the cool kids. You're not, you don't understand this. You don't understand Web3 and everything's, changing everything. It's like, that's all sizzle. What's the stake? What makes sense? Right? I mean, again, step back and ask yourself what makes sense. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, again, I can use different examples. I mean, and again, of course, hindsight's, always better, right? 2020, whatever. But, it's like Theranos. You look at that. Okay. And I'm not, picking on anyone or whatever like that. But, where are the medical degrees, right? I mean, some of this, when you think about it, of course it makes, right? I mean, and maybe I don't know, I'm not alleging anything, whatever, but it's just, you have to be commonsensical. But what I do see at the same time is I see tremendous disruption. And look, there's a lot of people I know in the blockchain space, a lot of people, and then a lot of investors, a lot of people in those spaces that are absolutely brilliant, from very diverse fields and everything. And that's a phenomenal deal, right? I mean, so we can all learn from everyone. You have to have an open mind at all times. But that's what I'm saying. Like everything has to be on the same, you can't, I'm trying to say a very refined point in a very rapid fashion, but the point is that I don't believe in being overly skeptical, or I hate, when you do pitches or when, when I was doing some VC, it's like I just try to have conversations with people and understand, what they're trying to do, who they are, does it make sense? Is there a there? Look at the fundamentals, look at all that. But, I don't like when people just try to tear everything down and it's negative. But you do have to have a recognition that the startup and venture game is extremely hard. Extremely hard. There's nothing easy about it. What I didn't like is this idea that it's all different and it's so easy, and they were just printing money. That's my gross over characterization or exaggerated characterization of it. But you'd see these posts on LinkedIn, like, what are you talking about? So yeah, I see 2023 as return to some kind of reality. Of course, knowing me, I went long here, but there's so much to talk about, because think about it. How we've been out, out in space almost, with everything different. I mean, new money, work from home, Zoom, different like the economy. I had a video about that, about the economy. There is no different economy. It's all one economy. Everything's tied to everything else. You're not getting your Amazon shipment. You're not getting you can't e-pay with something if you don't have the money. You can't get your Amazon shipment if there is no supply chain. You can't get your Amazon shipment or whatever you're going to do if you don't have transportation, a truck or a car to bring it there. And oh, by the way, that takes some kind of infrastructure and fueling grid and whatever that is, right? But at the same time, yeah, we're facing some really interesting times here, with the chat. What is it, GBT? I may have got that wrong, but AI is here. Robotics are here. Self-driving is close. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on. So without getting specifically in the hype of any one thing, I think that part of it is a funny thing happened along the way to change the world, which is the world's still here and we still have to deal with the now. But at the same time, yeah, there is major disruption that's going to happen. But when I look at things, I'm like, what really makes sense? What adds value to people? What do they really want? I do see huge disruption coming into automotives. Not so much yes, of course, how you buy a car and the process and making it a more seamless and less friction points. And that's all cool, but it's still a car deal, as I love to say. And people want to feel like they're buying the right car, and they want to feel like they're getting a deal. In my opinion, they want to deal with someone that they can trust and respect. At least in so much as dealing with this transaction. Doesn't mean you're going to get a Christmas card or anything like that, but it's a big purchase. If I'm buying a house, I want to respect and appreciate, or hopefully like, my realtor, or what, you know what I mean? Like, it's just common sense, right? But I want the best house and I want the best price and all of that, right? And that's the thing. Like, so that's maybe a great example. We get lost in all these things, in seeing all this stuff coming in the car space. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm being specific or anything like that. But you think about that from a housing perspective, right? You could have the best process in the world. If you don't have the right house, you don't have the right price, it doesn't matter. Right. So yeah, I do see with automotive, you're having self-driving aspects coming online. EV, how far and how fast can we go? We are seeing some incredible advances with battery and range and stuff like that. There are still issues out there in terms of the engineering aspects to it, and we'll see. So, but I think that my position is, you have to let people, and again, Twitter and the freedom of speech thing and all these things about like you think about what that platform was before, and all these things that have been revealed, and you can't set up this weird, almost holographic, illusory alternative, almost universe, if you will. For any of this stuff, you can't wish yourself into 100% EV adoption today, or name the whatever you want to say with it. So I think it's going to be a return to some kind of reality. But I think a lot of very important topics were also tabled, and we have to find a way to work together, include everybody, and move forward in a positive way. If you have to sort of force your ideas on someone or whatever, how good are they? Right? So fill in the blank for anything. So And at a certain point, it's like that whole saying, things, whatever goes up, must come down, right? I mean, unless it's, again, escape velocity, etc. But I think there's going to be a return to some kind of reality in 2023. I think there's a lot of things that are going to sort out from that. And I think there's a lot of things that are very, very related. What happens with the economy obviously may have potential political effects. The economic realities of a lot of this may affect how and what people buy and how they're buying it and what products they want and all, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, very interesting. I hope I did a decent job there. There's so many things that were related there that I was thinking about that I'm trying to pull together, and would love to take your comments on that. But yeah, I think 2023 is going to be tough, especially in particular sectors. It can be more sector focused. Like I say, I see some deflationary aspects going on right now. I see some inflationary aspects going on right now. I see some sectors doing well, some sectors doing bad. And I guess that's kind of part of things. I think overall, it wouldn't surprise me if 2023 becomes very, very tough in certain aspects, but also wouldn't surprise me to see a big bounce back. I think so much depends on exactly the topic of this talk as we face as we're right here the holiday season, which is, can we just stop the hyperpartisanship and all this stuff and just work together or agree on a certain respectful rules of engagement or whatever you want to call it, right? And be able to move forward. Let's get to work and let's talk about things and let's solve problems. Let's help each other out. Let's do things that actually make sense. Anyway, longer discussion. So yeah, went way longer than I wanted to, but I hope I made some sense there and cut through some of the noise, because a lot of these things do relate. It's not isolated. It's not compartmentalized. And I think that we've seen that, how many of these things are on the table right now. But I believe in people. I believe in us. I think things are going to be fine. I think they're going to be great. And I think that it's an interesting thing, because I think a lot of things that need to be discussed and need to be put out there have been put out there. I think that we have so many things on the table now for all of us to think about. So I think there's also a reflective period right now. And let's see. Well, you tell me what you think about that. I would love to hear from you. What do you think about 2023? Number one. Number two, what are you doing for the holidays? I may do a holiday show on Christmas. We'll see how we want to do that. What happens with the family? We may do that. But I wish you all the best for the holidays. If I don't, whether I do, whether I don't, I wish you and your family all the best for the holidays. And I hope the best for all of us for 2023. And I think I'm looking to be productive. I'm looking to do some great things. We'll see how that plays out, right? And but I'd love to see what your thoughts are. What do you think is going to happen in automotive? What do you look for when you buy a car? What do you think is going to happen with the economy? What do you think is going to happen with politics? Let's talk about all of it. I look forward to hearing from you and speaking to you through here. Anyway, have a great night. Thanks so much. I'm John D. Villarreal. I'll see you next time.